It was one of those freezing winter mornings where the air bites at your skin, and every breath feels like it could freeze your lungs. Samir's hands were numb as he set up his small food cart at the corner of 5th and Elm. He sold hot tea, sandwiches, and bowls of steaming soup, cheap enough that even those with only a few coins could afford something warm. Business was slow in the mornings, but he had no choice. Every dollar mattered. The cart was his lifeline, the only thing keeping him from the streets himself. Around 8 a.m., as the city was waking up, he noticed her. An elderly woman, bundled in an oversized coat that looked at least 20 years old, shuffled toward him. Her back was hunched, her steps slow and shaky. She stopped a few feet away, staring at the steam rising from his soup pots. Her eyes, pale, tired, but strangely gentle, were fixed on the food like she hadn't eaten in days. Samir smiled warmly. "Morning, ma'am. Would you like something hot?" She hesitated, clutching her worn purse. I don't have enough, just wanted to warm my hands." Without a second thought, Samir ladled a generous portion of soup into a paper bowl and handed it to her, adding a thick slice of bread. "It's on me," he said. "Eat while it's hot." Her eyes widened in disbelief. "I can't let you." "You can," he interrupted softly. "Everyone needs a warm meal sometimes." Her fingers trembled as she took the bowl, and for a moment it looked like she might cry. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. She sat on a nearby bench, eating slowly, savoring every bite as though it was the first real food she'd had in weeks. Samir watched her discreetly, noticing the way she tried to hide the tears in her eyes. When she finished, she walked back to him. "You've given me more than soup," she said quietly. "You've given me hope. I'll see you again." And with that, she shuffled away, disappearing into the busy street. The next day, Samir arrived at his spot earlier than usual. He had thought about the old lady all night, wondering if she was okay. Around mid-morning, a sleek black car pulled up beside his cart, an expensive model that looked wildly out of place in this part of town. The driver stepped out and opened the door, and to Samir's shock, the same elderly woman emerged. But this time, she was dressed in a beautifully tailored coat, her hair neatly done, and her posture far more confident than before. Samir froze. Was it really her? She smiled, the same gentle warmth in her eyes. "Good morning, Samir." "How?" he stammered. She stepped closer. "Yesterday, you saw me as just an old woman in need. What you didn't know was that I am Margaret Ellison." The name hit him like a wave. Margaret Ellison, the philanthropist whose foundation had funded dozens of shelters and food programs in the city. Her face had been in the news countless times, but he'd never connected the dots. "I was testing something," she continued softly. "I wanted to see kindness in its purest form. No cameras, no publicity, no expectations. And you gave it freely." Samir was speechless. She reached into her bag and handed him a folded envelope. "This is for you, not charity and investment. I want you to open a small cafe, a permanent place where people can find a warm meal and a kind face. My foundation will cover everything." Samir's throat tightened. He looked at the envelope, then back at her. "Why me?" "Because," she said, placing a hand gently on his arm, "the world needs more people like you, and I can help make your kindness go further." For a moment, the city noise faded. All he could hear was the pounding of his heart. He had lived years thinking he was just surviving, but now he could be something more. That winter, Samir's cafe opened its doors. It was small, but always smelled of fresh bread and soup. A sign above the door read, "Meals for all, pay if you can." And every day, without fail, there was a line, not just of the hungry, but of people who had once been helped and now wanted to help others. And in a quiet corner, sometimes, Margaret Ellison would sit with a steaming bowl of soup, smiling at the man who had once offered her the same, no questions asked. Samir never forgot that moment when kindness turned his life around, and neither did the city. Shorter, emotionally stronger version. On a freezing morning, street vendor Samir gave free soup to an old lady who couldn't pay. She left with tears in her eyes. The next day, she returned, not in rags, but stepping out of a luxury car, revealing herself as billionaire philanthropist Margaret Ellison. She told Samir she had been searching for genuine kindness and found it in him. Handing him an envelope to start his own cafe for the needy, she changed his life forever. Samir's cafe became a haven where kindness fed not just the stomach, but the soul.